I'd like to call to order the September 3rd, 2013 regular meeting of the Bowling Green Board of Commissioners. I'd invite you to stand if you like. Commissioner Waltrip introduces the individual bringing our invocation tonight.
It's my honor to introduce Pastor Luis Bentancur. He's a minister with the University Heights Church of Christ. Thank you for being here. Luis has been in the country for 1 year from Nicaragua. He's here with his wife and his two small sons. Thank you for being here.
Good evening. It's a great honor for me to be here, and thank you for inviting me. Would you bow with me? Our Father in heaven, we have come before Thee in recognition that we need Your love, blessing, mercy, compassion, and wisdom. We ask You for this meeting of the Bowling Green City Commission. Please lead this servant of Yours to take the best decision for the well-being of this community. We glorify Your name because we know that we have a great blessing in them. We ask You, Lord, that as a citizen, we support them because they are a great support to all of us. You know that me and my family have lived in several different places. And you know, Lord, this is the city that we enjoy the most. Please lead these men and women to keep this community in prosperity, progress, peace, and development. Bless their families, health, and projects as they strive to take the city to the next level. We appreciate all the effort that they do in order to offer to the resident a better way of life. We appreciate, Lord, the good roads, park, recreation centers, jobs, healthcare services, and help us as a good citizen to do not take it for granted. Thank You for them and for their families and for their hard work. And we ask You for this meeting in the holy name of Your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Now I want to invite members of Troop 510, Boy Scouts Troop 510, to come forward. They're guests of ours tonight in the meeting, and they will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you for being here, gentlemen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here. Appreciate it. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Williams.
Here.
Commissioner Denny.
Here.
Commissioner Hill.
Here.
Commissioner Waltrip.
Here.
Mayor Wilkerson.
Here. And under awards and recognitions, I have a couple before I turn it over.
I don't have any, Mayor. Thank you.
3 individuals have retired as effective September 1st. Want to call out or shout out to them to let them know that we appreciate the service that they've given to the members of our community over the past many years. First, Sandra K. Young. I think after 33 years, everybody in town knows Sandra K. down at the community center. She was at Parks and Rec since 1980 as part-time and went full-time in 81. We'll say goodbye to Corby Lambert, who was with us originally as a firefighter, then transferred to police, and then came back to us as a code enforcement inspector and was promoted to plan reviewer. So he leaves us after a total of 31 years of service. And then finally, after 28 years of service with the fire department, Company Commander Terry Bucklew leaves us, hired in 85, promoted to fire apparatus operator in 91 and company commander in 95. We wish them well in their new choice of work, and we'll take care of Terry's vacancy in a little bit here tonight. Did you say you had no awards or recognitions?
No, I don't.
Do you have any comments?
Yes, there'll be a need for an executive session. No vote required. Kate will read the reasons.
Pursuant to KRS 62810B for deliberations on the future acquisition or sale of real property by the city, but only when publicity would likely affect the value of the specific piece of property to be acquired for public use or sold by the city, and KRS 62810C for discussions of proposed or pending litigation against or on behalf of the city.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Waltrip and second by Hill. No discussion. Please call the roll.
Williams.
Yes.
Denny.
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Waltrip,
Yes.
Wilkerson.
Yes. Have approval of the minutes of the regular meeting for August 20th, 2013.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Hill, second by Williams. Is there any discussion? Please call the roll.
Williams,
Yes.
Denning,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Waltrip,
Yes.
Wilkerson.
Yes. The commission provides a time in each regular meeting for public comments. If there's anybody that has a comment they'd like to make on an item that's not on tonight's agenda, we'd ask you to raise your hand. Seeing nobody, we will go right to the items on the agenda. Second reading of ordinance 2013-26.
Ordinance amending Code of Ordinances, ordinance amending Chapter 2, Administration, Subchapter 2-17, Human Rights Commission of the City of Bowling Green Code of Ordinances to revise the composition of the City of Bowling Green Commission on Human Rights.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Waltrip and second by Denning. Is there any discussion? Please call the roll.
Williams,
Yes.
Denning,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Waltrip,
Yes.
Wilkerson.
Yes. Second reading of ordinance 2013-27.
Ordinance annexing property by consent. Ordinance annexing 0.80 acre of property located at 487 Garvin Lane, with property presently owned by David and Martine Sims, and said territory being contiguous to existing city limits.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Hill, second by Williams. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Williams,
Yes.
Denning,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Waltrip,
Yes.
Wilkerson.
Yes. Second reading of ordinance 2013-28.
Ordinance annexing property by consent. Ordinance annexing 22.6 acres of property located at Preston Miller Park along Veterans Memorial Boulevard and adjacent to the Russell Sims Aquatic Park, with property presently owned by the City of Bowling Green and said territory being contiguous to existing city limits.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Hill and second by Williams. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Williams,
Yes.
Denning,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Waltrip,
Yes.
Wilkerson.
Yes. Second reading of ordinance 2013-29.
Ordinance closing a public right-of-way. Ordinance approving the closing of an unnamed alley located off 13th Avenue East between Center Street and Kentucky Street.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Denning and second by Hill. Is there any discussion? Please call the roll.
Williams,
Yes.
Denning,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Waltrip,
Yes.
Wilkerson.
Yes. Second reading of ordinance 2013-30.
Ordinance rezoning real estate. Ordinance rezoning a tract of land containing 0.2774 acre from RM3 multifamily residential and GB general business to GB general business located at 0 Parkhurst Drive, presently owned by Larry Thomas Lawrence.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Hill, second by Waltrip. Is there any discussion? Please call the roll.
Williams,
Yes.
Denning,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Waltrip,
Yes.
Wilkerson.
Yes. Second reading of ordinance 2013-31.
Ordinance rezoning real estate. Ordinance rezoning 2 tracts of land containing 5.27 acres from RM4 multifamily residential, NB neighborhood business, and GB general business to PUD planned unit development located at Kentucky Street, 13th Avenue East, and Center Street, presently owned by Jason Mills, FJL LLC, 13th Street Development LLC, Theo Walton and Christine Walton, Web Group LLC, New Haven Construction Incorporated, Jade Ventures LLC, Westside Ventures LLC, and Crocker LLC, and Tritonbach Development LLC as contract vendee.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Hill and second by Williams. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Williams,
Yes.
Denning,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Waltrip,
Yes.
Wilkerson.
Yes. Municipal Order 2013-136.
Municipal order approving the promotion of Michael W. Alexander to the position of Company Commander, EMT, in the Fire Department.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Hill, second by Denning. Mr. DeFebo.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. As you mentioned, Mr. Buckaloo retired a couple of days ago, creating a vacancy for the position of company commander. I would ask the fire chief to come forward to put into nomination his name for promotion, his recommendation for promotion.
Mayor and Commissioner, thanks for your time tonight. Couple of things. Thanks for acknowledging Terry's contribution to the department. He actually was my mentor when I started the fire department. So, you know, I went out and spent some time with him when he left the other night, and I mean, his last night, and he was busy filling out a run. He kind of wanted it to be a day just like any other day. So that was classic Terry, and he certainly had a good career. Terry's retirement creates an opening for the position of company commander, and I'm here tonight to recommend the promotion of Mike Alexander, fill that position. Mike's been with the department for, how many years have you been here, Mike?
Almost 17.
17 years now. I meant to get that from him before we started, I didn't. But 17 years now. He's a really solid contributor to every level he's been in. He spent the last 4 years working in the prevention division, as in the investigation division of that part of our operation. And he's contributed to the investigation, the arson prosecution effort. And, you know, we have a task force here that's extremely successful. And our national average for arson prosecution is higher than just about anywhere in the country. So we have something to be proud of there, and Mike's been a big part of that for the last 4 years. You recently saw Mike when he provided you with some information about our new records management software, and he's been instrumental in driving that effort. All that said, Mike has some additional skills and attributes that make him a good candidate for this promotion. I know Mike well. I've had the opportunity to work with him directly back on shift, and I'm here to tell you tonight that for his age, he's had more jobs and he has more skills than anybody I know. So I'm going to share a few with you tonight. Mike's been a farmer all his life, so there's hardly anything he can't do. He's been a professional truck driver. He's worked in the freezer at Southern Foods. Several stints in that job. He's worked as a butcher at the slaughterhouse. He's a diesel truck mechanic. He's framed houses. He's framed pole barns. He's milked dairy cows. He's owned his own mowing business. He's a heck of a tile guy. He can lay tile with the best of them. In fact, I bet he's got a callus on his hand right now that would amaze you from crawling around on tile. Now he's busy building custom chicken coops for people who want to have a few chickens in their backyard. He does a great job of that too. He's already known well for that. He fishes competitively on a Bass Pro circuit. He currently serves as the coroner of Edmonson County. That makes him a politician. And he's a heck of a storyteller. And he lives in a place called Windyville. So I'm not sure what all that has to do with making him a good company commander. But I've talked to a lot of people that know Mike and that he's worked for, and any of them would hire him back in just a second. So I'm here tonight to recommend the promotion of a man I have a lot of respect for, Sergeant Mike Alexander. My recommendation is to promote him to company commander. And he's here if you want to quiz him. But just be careful if you ask him anything.
He's liable to answer it. Yeah. I think Commissioner Denning had questions for Ms. Keeley, if I understand right.
Well, I was just checking with her on some things, and she filled me, and I'm satisfied. But I had to question her on a few specific areas, and I'm satisfied.
Mike, would you mind standing up so the people at home can know who you are? We wish you congratulations, and we'll get on with the vote unless anybody has any other comments. Please call the roll.
Williams?
Yes.
Denning?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Waltrip?
Yes.
Wilkerson?
Yes. Congratulations again, Michael. Municipal Order 2013-137.
Municipal order approving the reappointment of Juliet Banks to the Human Rights Commission.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Denning and second by Hill, and I apologize to Ms. Banks. I accidentally left her off the list of the ones that we did last week, and it was unintentional. So, any discussion? Please call the roll.
Williams?
Yes.
Denning?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Waltrip?
Yes.
Wilkerson?
Yes. Municipal Order 2013-138.
Municipal order authorizing and accepting bid number 2013-49 for Microsoft Exchange 2013 software from JBK Network Consulting, Ltd. of Bowling Green, Kentucky, in the total amount of $34,096.
So moved.
Motion by Williams, second by Hill. Mr. DeFebo.
The city is moving from a group-wise environment to a Microsoft Exchange environment. In order to do that, we need to first get the software to do that. We went out to bid. We had 12 bidders. JBK of Bowling Green was one of 2 local bidders, both asking for the local preference. When that is calculated in, JBK has the lowest bid. Lynn is here if you have any questions about the product or the process.
Any comments or discussion? Please call the roll.
Williams.
Yes.
Denning.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Waltrip.
Yes.
Wilkerson.
Yes. Municipal Order 2013-139.
Municipal order authorizing software subscription services from New World Systems in the amount of $94,557 for fiscal year 2014.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Hill and second by Williams. Mr. DeFebo.
In 2007, I believe the year, the city purchased New World Enterprise software to drive most of our applications for budget, personnel, and community development. That requires a yearly maintenance agreement. We're here today to ask your approval for roughly a 3.5% increase in the maintenance contract for the coming years. This was pursuant to the guidelines in the original bid document. Lynn, again, is here if you have any questions about the product or the bid process.
Any questions or discussion? Please call the roll.
Williams.
Yes.
Denning.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Waltrip.
Yes.
Wilkerson.
Yes. First reading of ordinance 2013-32.
Ordinance amending Code of Ordinances. Ordinance amending Chapter 23, Water and Sewer, Subchapter 23-3, Sewer System of the City of Bowling Green Code of Ordinances as requested by the Bowling Green Municipal Utilities Board.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Williams, second by Denning. Mr. DeFebo.
Not all sewage received by our sewage treatment plant is received in the same primal manner. Some industries are required to go through what is known as industrial pretreatment to take out extra fats and binders that could cause problem in the treatment plant, as well as to add unnecessary costs to all of us. It's called industrial pretreatment. There's a book of rules of engagement that have to be followed according to the Clean Water Act. We're here tonight to act on the recommendation from BGMU to adopt its changes to the industrial pretreatment plan. Mark Iverson, its CEO, is here if you have any questions. Rick's on the board if he would like to add.
I might just say that this is something that is being done in accordance with law and rules and regulations, and we're just following and kind of rubber stamping what needs to be done.
Does that, Mark, can I ask a question of you? What does that mean for the industries that are out there currently? Do they have to make any changes?
No, sir. This should be pretty. We engage with every industrial user that is permitted with us. We've already gone over this with them already, but for the most part, this is pretty simple changes.
Any other comments or discussion? Thank you. Please call the roll.
Williams.
Yes.
Denning.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Waltrip.
Yes.
Wilkerson.
Yes. Municipal Order 2013-140.
Municipal order waiving provisions of Chapter 22, Traffic and Motor Vehicles of the City of Bowling Green Code of Ordinances and approving donation of police services to the BG 26.2 and half marathon run special event to be held on November 3rd, 2013, including calendar years 2014 and 2015.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Waltrip and second by Hill.
I'll defer to the sponsors.
Ms. Waltrip?
Yes, I'd like to actually start this off, if I could, by asking Lily Wheat of Tracks of Bowling Green to come up and just make some comments about the BG Marathon.
Okay, I will. Thanks again for this opportunity. It seems like it was this time last year that I was doing the PowerPoint presentation. We've got a few things exciting this year that weren't able to come about last year just because last year was our inaugural race. We actually have submitted paperwork to get this to be a Boston qualifier, which for those in the running community, that is big, especially after what happened this past April in Boston. This will actually take effect for 2015, so all those participants that have signed up and meet the criteria will be able to qualify to run in 2015 in Boston, and that is big. We've also had an opportunity to partnership with the Kentucky Derby Festival and their marathon in Louisville. Basically what that means is they're going to come down and set up at our expo, which we're having at the Corvette Museum, and in turn we get to go up in April and set up in front of them and present our marathon and Bowling Green. they cap out their runners at 18,000. So when you weigh the differences, I think we by far are going to get the better end of that deal than they are coming down here. But that's all good. They approached us, so evidently we're doing something right for all these people to contact us. I've had 2 emails today from people way out. They're like, we want to come in and sponsor and set up. Right now we've got 18 different states represented, plus one person out of D.C. So we've got 19 different aside of Kentucky. Out of those, about 67% are females, which, if you know, most of y'all have wives. They're the ones that like to buy. And whenever you go to these races, these people go crazy and buy. I mean, that is their thing. Their just mindset is they want to purchase. But what we're looking to try to do is make this be a destination race, so that, you know, they go to Louisville, they go to Nashville, but neither one of these are conflicting with the date we have in November. The only thing that conflicts is the New York Marathon, and that is a marathon that you have to actually get in the lottery to do. You just can't sign up. So as far as big races, I feel like this gives us a couple years to get things refined and we get a little bit more marketing out there. I think that you'll see eventually we will be another Louisville Marathon, we'll be another Nashville Marathon, and this will be a destination race.
And the date is November 3rd?
The date is Sunday, November the 3rd. Now, we're having, like I said, the expo at the Corvette Museum on that Saturday evening. We're also going to tie in all our run clubs that we've got at all the elementary schools. They're going to have their final little, their final race that afternoon over there at Corvette. So you're going to talk in communities as far as Metcalfe County, which I was there today, with a little run club that have 40 kids running around, all the way down to Allen County, that will be coming and representing their little schools. So they can't drive. Mom and Dad are going to come. And when we had our event in May, we had like 500 people at Ephraim White Park just for 160 kids. So we're thinking that may even be bigger than our whole expo itself. But that's what I'm looking for. That's what we're trying to do as far as the community and the partnership with Trax and Bowling Green.
Let me say a little bit about how this came about. I'd had some meetings with city staff regarding this event, and after those meetings I went out and had a conversation with Lily and Joe, and just tried to bat around some ideas on how this race could become successful and how the city could actually help. So I actually approached them with the idea. Commissioner Hill and I had discussed this event, and thought that a way to do that was to waive the cost of police services for 3 years. With the provision is in the ordinance, and again, I think this is going to be a very good event. I think we're going to put some people in hotel rooms, restaurants. There's going to be retail sales, and one thing that really that I really like about it, again, is when you talk about destination events and people staying here. Because I think once people experience Bowling Green, they'll be back, their families will be back, and their friends will be back.
You're right, Bill. We have got, actually, for those that are coming back, we're calling them repeaters. We're going to give them all repeater shirts. So if you start year one and keep going, you're going to collect a repeater shirt every year. And we've already got the winner from last year that was from Chicago is back. He's got like 5 or 6 of his buddies have already signed up. So I feel like, and then we're also opening this up to a race walk for the half. So we've got people from afar that are coming to do that. So we've got the venue, open it up for those other people that can be a part of this. Of course, Matt Davis is going to be very instrumental in getting our push rims. We're already working on some relationships there, and he's assured me he can get some of his guys. So it's just going to be good. I'm excited.
I know that Melinda's had a number of conversations with you as well. So, but that was what actually drew me to the event, and thinking again how we can. How the city can, again, help you all make this a very successful event.
Well, that would be a big bonus. And I think, too, of course, I'm passionate, and I think there was one person here that can kind of relate to this, but I lost my sister 8 years ago to MS. She had it for more than 25 years out of her 48 years of living. She was a tremendous track athlete at Western, and it's just a passion for me. I mean, we can all have these different things that we want to do, and I told Joe when she passed away, I think we'll just do a 5K, and he's like, think big. And I guess that kind of goes back to what my father had always told me, don't limit yourself. And that's kind of what I'm thinking. I see a vision, but you got to get in my little head to see that vision. I see it for Bowling Green. I think it could be tremendous.
Thank you.
So stress to our citizens, Lily, where these funds will be going.
They will be going to the National Multiple Sclerosis Society. We use the girls out of Louisville, and they will be down too as they were last year. And we're already up 200% from the entries from last year, so it's going to get good. I'm excited.
Yes, sir.
What determines a race to be a qualifier for the Boston Marathon or New York or whatever the case may be?
It is many hours getting up at 5 o'clock, getting the bike calibrated and riding the course. And you have this little Jones counter that's on your bike, and it's a tedious task. I took the map that Brian Harrell gave me, took away all the street colors and everything, made it black and white, and I should have brought a picture. Actually, it's on our website. But you've got a lot of paperwork. I could actually, Joe, hand you the details of our race, and you basically take that packet and you could put it on yourself. That is what actually will determine once rep approves it. But basically, it's just so that someone else can put on your race.
Thank you.
Yeah. Do we know what the cost is going to be?
I have a couple questions. Can I ask a couple
Sure.
questions? Lily,
Yes, sir.
it's my understanding there was no contribution made to MS last year?
You're correct, yes, sir.
Okay,
Trax
could you
was in the hole.
explain that, please?
Yes, sir. We actually, what had happened initially, the police bill was going to be in excess of $18,000, but because we were going to do a contribution to a nonprofit society, we had not been able to establish that ourselves. Kevin was kind enough to reduce it to half. And then I'm not sure because we had about 200 cyclists and volunteers on the course that helped police everything, that Jim Hyde was able to reduce some of the manpower. We was about 6,500 that we were out. By the time we had the initial bills for, the invoices and stuff, putting on the first marathon and subtracting all the difference, Trax was in the hole a little bit, but that was our loss. We start back out this year at a zero balance. We have actually incorporated it. It's a BG 26.2.5 Marathon Inc. We are trying to get. We are in process of getting our nonprofit. We've got our own board. The members of the board are Joe and Nick, myself, Doug Frent, Ryan Reed, Marissa Christie, who's a grant writer that used to work for Mammoth Cave Research and Development, and Kevin Mays. Did I forget anyone? Okay, there's an odd number, but only 2 of us are women, so that's good though. So.
Is there an intent this year to make a determined contribution, to determined amount, or will it be dependent on
It will
the end balancing?
Basically would be dependent on that. We're actually bidding out the shirts to get low bottom. Of course, with our marketing company, we don't have to pay another company the upcharge or the profit on that. That comes straight cost to cost. So we can actually save the race a lot of money by doing that, and that's what we did. And we can buy the medals at cost, all the awards are at cost, and there's not too many races that are actually able to do that. So as far as determining the number, no sir, I have not even sat down and looked at that. I've been kind of.
I thought it was important to have the disclosure about last year, what happened.
Yes sir.
Okay.
Yes sir. Thank you for putting that up.
I'm going to take a moment to explain my no vote on this issue to make sure that everybody understands it doesn't have any relation to who the group is or the event taking place. It refers back to a couple of summers ago when the city manager requested guidance regarding the large number of requests for police services at special events for no charge. And it was costing the taxpayers quite a large amount of money, and staff didn't feel comfortable agreeing to the requests that were coming in without direction from the commission. The original proposal restricted those no-cost services to just a couple of large events. But in our work sessions, the commission agreed to expand the list to cover those events which had been occurring for many years and traditionally supported by the city. So we voted on that list of grandfathered events and set in place a policy whereby the new requests were required to pay their own way. For-profit requests at full price and nonprofits at half price. And that seemed, in my judgment, to be a logical and reasonable way to deal with the requests coming in. And it's just going to be difficult to explain, to rely on that ordinance in the future if we deviate from the policy of this issue, because in my judgment, I feel like what we do for one, we need to do for others. So in order to remain consistent with this policy, and again, we're waiving half the cost to support the nonprofit nature of the event, that I'll be voting to decline to waive the other half of the payment. Any other comments? Yes, ma'am.
I would just like to thank Commissioner Waltrip for approaching you all. For the citizens that have watched me, hopefully they understand I'm a very frugal commissioner and like to watch closely our taxpayers' money. But I'm not willing to take a blanket approach to everything that we do. So even though we did approve that last time, or a few summers ago, I'm willing to look at each individual case, and I believe Tracks Running is looking out for the best interest of Bowling Green, Kentucky, and you're wanting people to come to this city, and I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you.
So thank you all.
Thank you.
May I ask one question?
Sure.
To Kevin, maybe. What kind of cost are we looking at here?
Depends on a degree of volunteers, but last year they paid $6,077. That required a whole phalanx of police officers, from patrolmen up to command persons. It will depend on how much volunteer help we'll get. You can expect that to be a little greater this year because obviously employees got a raise. I'm hoping that the ordinance doesn't abridge Doug's right to determine how many officers we need or don't need. If you're looking for a guess, I'm thinking that value would be about $10,000 to $12,000.
Over and above last year's?
No, altogether.
And if we kept it like last year, it would be half of that, correct? So
Well, last year they paid $6,077. The original bill came out. The original quote was $9,432, but we were able to deliver it at $6,077 by the use of volunteers. So it depends how many volunteers you have and how many you don't have. So anywhere from 7,000 to 10,000, 11,000, somewhere in there. I can't give you a precise answer.
So last year they did not pay half the end of the original.
Correct. They paid less than half.
6,000. The bill was 9,000 and they paid 6,000.
The estimate was 9,432. The original estimate was 18,865. Half of that is 9,432.
Okay. You didn't mention the 18.
I'm sorry. Then you would go to what actual demand on that day turns out to be.
Okay.
Because if you don't have a volunteer or if you can't do something, we can't leave runners vulnerable.
Okay. Melinda, I know that you were around the start line last year, but if anyone had been out on Fairview, there were runners, and there were probably more of our cyclist volunteers than there were runners a lot of times. And a lot of times there were runners that had their own cyclists the whole way back in. And what we did is they had a mile to cover, but there was an overlap. So there was enough cyclists back and forth that everybody would, pretty much had their own little cyclist for the most part.
The course is very similar to last year.
It is exactly.
Right?
The only thing that we did do after we had a couple guys that got pretty emotional watching Matt Davis come up the back part, the last part of park, we decided to kind of flatten that out, and we're hitting the alleys on that because it was evidently really hard for him, and we did not want that to be a deterrent to get more push rims.
And there's no reason to believe that you won't have as many volunteers, if not more volunteers.
No,
this
we'll
year,
probably have
sir.
more. We got people now that are just I want to help, I want to help.
So the $6,000 figure that we did last year,
I can't see it, and it may exceed it, but I can't see it exceeding that,
And
honestly.
again, we have the 3-year provision in there in case something goes the way that we haven't anticipated. So there is a safeguard in there as well. I don't have anything.
Any other comments, discussion? Yes, sir.
This final direction for staff, I just want to make sure that we all know that police department, and the protocols we use for any other rental will be observed, the insurance requirements, everything else that applies. All this applies is to the donation by this city commission to this event for police services.
Yes.
And the police department still, in our neighborhood and community services department, still does the processing of the permit. That's important because we have to have public order. You don't want to get complaints from neighborhoods and things like that.
Well, in my mind, none of that changes. So.
Okay, Willie, you right? You understand that, right? We're going to have to use the same permit process that we did last year.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you've been through it. I just want to make sure that we all know this.
Any other comments or discussion?
No.
Please call the roll.
Williams,
Yes.
Denning,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Waltrip,
Yes.
Wilkerson.
No. And that's the end of our regular scheduled meeting. We'll be going into closed session. Our next meeting's on the 17th of 2013. I'm sorry, did you have something else?
Yes, if you don't mind, I would like to thank the Visitors Bureau. Citizens have noticed our I Love BG shirts. They were kind enough to give the mayor and each of the commissioners shirts, so thank you to them. And I'd invite our citizens, if you've never been to the Visitor Center, please go there. They have an amazing gift shop, everything you can think of Kentucky items and Bowling Green items, so it'd be a nice little place to shop. So thank you all for thinking of us.
My only comment would be that they had a medium shirt that fit me. That's a bad attempt at a joke, I know, but that's the best I had. Yeah.
Those are nice shirts.